Learning is different now. The first lab-confirmed case of COVID-19 in the U.S. was back on January 20th, 2020. Since then, major modifications have been made in many school districts throughout the country. Social distancing, masks, for some, distance and virtual learning. The experience has evolved into a balancing act for many parents. The end goal, making sure children receive a proper education while either going to school following COVID-19 protocols or staying home and learning online with district teachers or using district contracted online platforms. Staying sane is a bonus.
We know that they're not going to get that support from home with some of the online learning. And there's only so much that teachers can do, but yet they're going to be held accountable for educating the children.
VNN met with Tulsa-based child development specialist Dr. Barbara Sorrells on a previous education story. It was during that initial interview we realized Sorrells was a treasure trove of child development and education information.
The last thing everybody needs is to have everybody stressed out over it. Any gains, any academic gains that you may have by trying to push through and get all these assignments done, when your child is stressed out, you're stressed out, are going to be lost in that stress.
Unfortunately, that's exactly what's happening in some households. VNN asked parents across the United States to take part in a brief survey during the month of October. Our findings were interesting, but not surprising. Most parents who responded to VNN's survey have 2 children in school. School grades were a mixed bag. Only 25% of respondents have children doing in-person learning. The other 75% are either being homeschooled or doing distance learning or virtual learning through their local district. Nearly 80% of parents made the decision for their children's method of learning this school year, as opposed to the decision being made for them by their state or district. Half of respondents said this year is going good so far. 37.5% described their current school year as so-so. The other 12.5% said things were going bad. While most respondents described their feelings as happy or neutral, nearly 30% said they were either stressed or very stressed. For at-home learners, most respondents said their children are being given just the right amount of work each day. Too much work came in second with about a quarter of respondents, followed by about 15% responding the amount of daily work was way too much. More than 40% of respondents said their at-home learners always need their help. And a quarter of respondents of at-home learners said their job is being negatively affected. Overall opinion varied greatly, including comments such as, "Due to the poor choice of options, we resorted to homeschooling and creating our own curriculum. It has been hard, but I am very thankful to make my own rules for my children's education. I am teaching virtually from home. Virtual learning has worked out well for my children and me." Technology problems are the biggest hurdle, not the actual content. My son has been frustrated and cries almost every other day. The alternative, in-person learning, is not feasible for safety reasons due to COVID. Some parents told us they wanted to continue learning at home due to the threat of COVID-19. Others said due to the high recovery rate in children, they wished the schools would open back up. Multiple respondents said learning at home was just not working out with young kids. It's insane to expect kindergartners to do everything online. There are no books for my 8th grader. Information is disseminated in a crazy manner. Sorrells tells us the idea of children, especially young children, being on a screen all day is less than ideal, especially when parents may be preoccupied with work.
No neuroscientist worth their salt will tell you that screen time, unfettered access to screen time is good for children while their brains are developing. There is a time and there is a place and there is a season. I can tell you without a doubt the season is not in the first 8 years of life.
Sorrells says children need to be active. They need to be doing.
Learning a new skill, teaching your children to cook, teaching your children to garden, go out and plant a few seeds.
Not stressing out over completing a bunch of assignments on a computer. Instead, Sorrell says this upheaval in traditional learning should be used to forge better connections with children in the classroom, but especially at home, to build attachment and to teach kids lessons they can use in real life.
It's not happening anymore because the lives of parents, even well-to-do parents, are so frantically busy. And again, even well-to-do parents are sometimes just as preoccupied with screens and such, as it's not just something that afflicts children who come from more impoverished backgrounds, but children are coming to school not having those social emotional skills, not being able to identify their own emotions, and not knowing how to self-regulate.
She tells VNN parents, guardians, and teachers can help children learn by updating the current approach and models of education and letting go of some of the old notions.